Hello and welcome to our beloved parishioners. I'm Bailee.
I'm Ashley.
And this is Praise Be to Pod. Thank you so much for joining us.
Wow, what's on your heart, Bailee?
Well, today is a very special day because it is my cat, Uncle Marty's 9th birthday.
Oh my God, how can he be that old? He
I
looks like a
know.
child.
And that's kind of what I want to talk about today.
Oh no.
Is that familiar feeling of just knowing your pet is getting older, which I know you're experiencing that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew he was turning 9, but I adopted him when he was 4. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, he's like 6.
Right.
He's not 9, but he is 9.
Buddy.
And he's an Aquarius.
Yeah.
So he's an old soul too.
Wow.
And I don't know. I've just been worried about him lately just because he's so sensitive, like emotionally and spiritually. And he just gets really riled up about stuff. He turned on the stove the other day. I think I had left like a dirty pan on the stovetop, and he jumped on to lick it off when I wasn't noticing. And then when he jumped off, he turned on the stove full on high.
Oh my God.
Yep. And then, so that was great. But he like singed his like fur doing that too. And then he's just been acting out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to take him to the vet. I just have like a feeling, I don't want to say it. I just like don't want to hear anything about how like, oh, he's getting older, he needs to be on like this medication or like anything advanced, because in my mind, like he has to live forever. Like he has to live forever.
Right.
So anyway, I had to go to work today, like in the office, so I wasn't able to celebrate his birthday today, but tomorrow he's gonna have wet food for both meals.
Wow.
Yep.
A candle?
And he's gonna have no, we're not doing any fire
Okay.
near him at this time. This is not the first time he has caught on fire. He also singed his tail when I was at my desk a while ago, and there was a candle next to it, and he jumped on and he lit his tail on fire.
Yeah.
He's just, yeah. Anyway, I have to be very particular about candles, and apparently now the stove too.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that, and maybe some treats, and then maybe some new catnip toys. We're just gonna give him the best 9th birthday ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an old man.
He is so old and so young at the same time.
Poor buddy.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, what's on your heart?
I have a problem where, while I'm currently still unemployed, I do have 2 interviews though this week.
Congratulations.
They're-
What you do?
Yeah.
We'll talk about them.
They're
later.
not great pay, but they're cool jobs.
Okay.
So I'll do the interview and see.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more money than unemployment.
Got it.
So great. And I am building some other things on the side, but other than that, when I don't have a lot going on, I have to fill my brain because I think it's an ADHD thing or just like a female thing. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I obsess over something, and right now I'm obsessing over organizing every nook and cranny of my house. And my big project before I do get a job is to organize my creepy basement.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's wild. I did go in the basement for the first time recently. I didn't sense anything off about it. If I'm being honest.
I think it's fine. I think the only thing down there is like probably some mice, maybe a bird.
There isn't even really bad energy down there.
No.
I was expecting, because Danny, your husband, who is an atheist, won't go down there at night. And when you know that when an atheist won't do something spooky, that there's something off about it. So I went down and I'm like, I think that guy is just woo-woo. And he doesn't realize it
I
yet.
think he just wants an excuse to not have to go down there.
Oh, okay.
Because it's always like, oh, we're out of toilet paper, things like that.
Is there like a toilet paper store down there?
Yeah, that's where we keep our toilet paper.
Okay, got it.
Because we get it from Costco.
Oh, so you get it in bulk.
Yeah.
Got it.
So anyway, I ordered shelves, and they're arriving tomorrow. And now I have a new project.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did you figure out the sconces situation? I went
No.
over to Ashley's house and helped her, or tried to help her install sconces. I've never worked with like electrical stuff before. I did not do a very good job.
Me neither. It was too hard, mainly because the wires were so big. Like I've never seen wires in the wall that thick.
I
So we
think
couldn't
too,
twist
when
them
it's
in.
an older house, it's really hard to do electrical work because a lot of the pieces, there aren't even, it's really hard to source them.
Well, like all of our electric has been updated, but I have a friend coming in town who's like very handy. So he said he's going to do it for us.
Okay.
We'll see if he means it. Some men think they're handy and they're not.
He seemed pretty confident.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Sometimes you just need like an iron will to get through something. It's why I think that they do learn a lot of handy things, is because they have this sense of confidence to them that they can do it. And so then they ultimately can.
Okay, fun news. We have a new segment today, and it is called Hot Heresy, where we deliver hot takes. Because I feel like we have a lot.
I definitely have some controversial opinions
Yes.
that like border on problematic and
Yes, so
blasphemous.
what's your current hot take?
Okay, so you know how people say that you shouldn't go into business with a friend? Have you ever heard that saying
Yeah.
before? I disagree with that a lot, and here is why. I disagree with it for the same reason I disagree with the advice that you shouldn't date your coworker or that you shouldn't date someone in your friend group,
Wow,
which I know
risky.
is maybe even a hotter take.
Uh-huh.
So here's my theory on that. So the reasoning why people advise not to like date a coworker or a person in your friend group or go into business with a friend is because you don't want things to get dicey with your personal relationship because things might get a little awkward. Whereas if you like go into something in a relationship business first, there might be a little bit more fluidity in direct communication. And if it goes south, you're not like dismantling an entire friend group. But I personally think that fucking up should dismantle an entire friend group and that tension should keep you on the straight and narrow. Like, I think one of the reasons why people struggle with getting fucked over so much in business and in dating is because there's no accountability to the other person. But people are not meant to partner with, whether in business or romance, with people that are not in their immediate network. Like, evolutionarily, you connect with people in your village because there was social accountability. And if someone screwed you over, they would not hear the end of it and it would impact their reputation. And so I think it really helps with reputation management and making the right decisions. Like, you and I are friends and we're technically going into business together. I'm not really worried about it because I don't have any nefarious intent.
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to have a falling out because I don't think either of us, like, we will probably get into fights and arguments, but like neither one of us has like a secret sneaky thing that we're trying to do. So it's not going to be a problem. And that is like a good tension to have, that like if something were to happen, we would face a lot of repercussions socially because we have common friends and things like that. So I personally think that you should date your coworkers and you should be sloppy about it too. You should make everyone uncomfortable. Also, like, if you're an adult, how else are you going to meet people aside from the apps, like at work?
I think it's a good take, but I was married to my coworker and it was terrible.
I think that had to do with him, not that he was your coworker.
But I think it's hard because you see that, like, let's say they mess up at work. Then you have to see that, and it's an ick.
But that's a good thing because you can observe from afar before. Oh, okay. So that's actually
We're already
another
married. We were married. I didn't know he was such an ick.
So you were married, and then you started working together?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think that
Be careful. Just be careful.
Just be careful. I think you should be careful anyway. You should be careful.
If you're on the rocks, it's going to go down.
Yes. You should be careful in general. So, okay, here's an example with a coworker dating situation. If I had a coworker who I was kind of attracted to, it would be a while before either one of us would do anything about it because the stakes are higher for sure. But in that time, you get to observe each other without making a move. And you get to actually see if you have a vibe, and you get to work together on projects. You get to see them not do well at something and make a mistake and how they handle it. You get to see what their reputation is at work. And then when you make that decision, you have more information about it and you are taking a social risk. But I think that for men in particular, it's good for them to have, because we have so much built-in liability with dating. There's so much like violence you expose yourself to as a woman, but there's not as much liability for men. So having the ability for them to experience social shame is a boundary that is automatically woven into their experience. And we've eliminated that by doing apps and shit like that. Whereas I will never escape the vulnerability of possibly experiencing like violence on a date or something like that. But they're unlikely to experience that, or less likely, I should say. Yeah. So anyway, that's my hot take. You should get sloppy at work with romance, and you should go into a business with your friend.
Pretty good.
Yeah. What's yours?
Mine is not my own take.
Okay.
But when I first met Danny, my husband, he would go on these rants about how we should have let the South secede. And I was like, that's crazy.
Oh, after the Civil War?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, that's crazy. It's better to all be together. I disagree now. I think he's right, and I wish that we would have, and I wish all those little losers could be in their own stupid country, and we could have a normal one.
I kind of agree.
I wish we would just split up, and all the losers can be in Florida, and we can have everything else.
Yes. With the caveat, and I'm sure Danny factors this caveat in, the South should have seceded, and also slavery should have been abolished so that people didn't have to forcibly stay in the South, which I'm sure that he is aware and includes that caveat. But I agree. Like, there's some people where I'm like, if we want to be governed so differently and we're just so decided upon that, why don't we just get governed differently? Like, if you really just don't want to, if you don't want to have like any health care or social services or freedom, like, go like live in like an alt-right place. Like, it sounds like you would love that.
Perfect for you.
Mm-hmm. And then I can go live in like
Canada,
Hippieville, the place where everyone's having an abortion every other day.
Oh my God.
A Planned Parenthood is like attached to a convenience store. Yeah, actually, there would be no abortions because there would be forced vasectomies in my world.
Oh, so many hot takes in one spot. Speaking of hot takes, do you know who had a lot of hot takes?
I'm about to.
The Amish.
They did. The ultimate
Especially
hot
on the
take.
Reformation. So today we're talking about the Amish. Surprise, surprise. Does anyone know anything about them? I thought I did, but guess what? I don't, because I had to read a lot of history.
I don't know a ton about them except from what I learned about them growing up because my mom was really obsessed with the Amish.
Interesting. Why?
Well, I think that we'll talk about that a lot today.
Okay.
There is a subsect of evangelical women who I think really romanticize the Amish experience. And so it's found in a lot of like literature and media that caters to evangelical audiences. There's a lot of puritanical Amish story settings. And so I would hear about different Amish practices through those stories. But to be honest with you, I don't even know if they're accurate or not. I just remember hearing them through like weird Hallmarky movies.
Oh, interesting. Okay, perfect. Well, the stereotypes that I know are, bonnets, barns, no electricity. That's really about it. A lot of woodworking.
Yep.
And beards. Like you said, a lot of evangelicals think, oh, the Amish are the real Christians and they actually live out the Bible. But the Amish aren't that evangelical.
No, not at all. They're pretty insular, actually.
And the obsession says far more about evangelicals than it does about the Amish. So as it happens with me, I had to go back into the history books for this one. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how the Amish came to be because I didn't really know. I had some ideas because of all my other research I've been doing with this podcast.
Because everything is connected to everything.
Because everything is connected to the Reformation, including the Amish. So before the Amish, we're in like the year 1500 in Europe. And remember that the Christianity and the government were the same system. You were Christian because you were born in a certain country. Like the church equaled the state, equaled the law, equaled your identity. And there was no option to opt out. Your religion wasn't a choice. It was just like part of your birth certificate. So if you were born in these European countries, you were Christian.
Okay.
That's it. And then comes the Protestant Reformation around 1517. And for those of you who don't know what that is, because I wouldn't blame you if you don't, because the only reason I do is because people said it all the time. I never knew what they meant. And I knew that's something with the Catholics. That's all I knew.
Okay.
So do you want to tell us what it is?
Yeah. So
I'm sure you know.
The split between the Protestant and the Catholic Church led by Martin Luther. And he was upset with what he perceived to be corruption in the Catholic Church. So he wrote this 95 thesis and pinned it up in the town square.
Oh, nice.
And it was all of the reasons why the Catholic or the Protestant church should split from the Catholic. I don't remember all of the reasons, not all 95 of them at least. I think a lot of it had to do with idolatry. Was divorce a part of it too? Or am I getting that confused with King Henry VIII?
I don't know. I think you're getting it confused. But the main thing that I read the most is that he was saying the Catholic Church is corrupt and the Pope has too much power. Okay. Those are like the main core tenets of why they wanted to split and not have a Pope.
Okay.
Basically. So at this time, like they weren't trying to dismantle Christian society. They just wanted to replace who was in charge.
Yeah.
And then they had the split.
Did it have anything to do too with him not wanting just the government to be too tied into religion? I mean, ultimately, Protestantism did end up becoming.
No, they liked that.
The Protestants did.
Everyone liked that it was all together still.
Okay.
And that's part of why the Amish got involved.
Okay.
So, and it also spread so quickly, like the ideas that Martin Luther came up with and were putting up in the town square because of the printing press. So that was the first time something like really big went across throughout all of the countries. So after the Reformation, you were still born a Christian, governments were still Christian, and religion was still enforcing social order. Like, you know, you can't get pregnant or whatever. If you're not married, then you just should die, basically.
Yep. Classic.
Yep. But then some people started to ask more questions. They were like, wait, I don't think we're done reforming yet. So a smaller group looked around and said, like, if Christianity is supposed to be chosen, then why are we baptizing babies? They started looking more into their Bible. Like, why does the government get to decide what the faith is? And why are Christians killing people in wars? And these people are called the Anabaptists, which literally means rebaptizer. And that's the starting point of Amish history. So this is around the same time as the Puritans started to ask questions, but they're not the same people. So don't get that confused.
Okay. I would have thought that they were an offshoot.
They were all reacting to the same things.
Okay.
But they were not the same groups.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Anabaptists believed that the problem isn't the church, just the entire Christian way of life is messed up. So instead of just fixing theology, they wanted to change how people lived every day. So it included, you shouldn't just be Christian because you were born into it. You shouldn't just be Christian because the government says you are. And you shouldn't use violence to defend Christianity. Christianity should look like shared life instead of power.
Not a bad take.
Which I wish more people thought these things.
Yeah. So far, I'm not hating everything I'm hearing about these Anabaptists.
And this was very threatening. So they didn't like this because it was a threat to the society. They being the Catholics and the Protestants and the government.
Okay. The big three.
The big three. So what the Anabaptists, and it's spelled A-N-A.
Oh, Anabaptist, not
Anabaptist. And I don't know why, but that's, Anabaptist.
Okay.
So what they believed is, you know, you get baptized whenever you choose it, and that becomes your citizenship into the religion and things like that. So they were very adamant about, like, the government shouldn't decide who's a Christian. This undermined kings, armies, nationalities, because on your passport would say your religion.
Right. So it was almost like associated with your ethnic group.
Yes. And that's kind of like when some people get confused, like in Arab countries, there's still some things that are like that, or like, you know, if someone's a Christian or a Muslim based on their name. Yep. Very similar still today. It also undermined taxes and law enforcement that was tied to the church. They were very pacifistic. Is that the right word?
Yeah, pacifists.
They were pacifists.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to be involved in the military. There was no like God's on our side so we can win the war. Like some people think today.
Yeah. Well, these motherfuckers are kind of woke.
I know. So woke. And they didn't hide.
They're going to stay woke, right?
Yeah, and they didn't hide behind being saved. So then we come to like 1550 to 1600. This is when the Anabaptists have to go underground because they are threatening the society and they're starting to get persecuted.
Okay.
And
is this like real persecution or like evangelical persecution?
Very real persecution.
Okay, got it. An important distinction.
Yes. So the Anabaptists go underground and the Puritans stay inside the Church of England trying to purify the doctrine and practice.
Okay.
And they remain politically engaged. So there's two different reactions to the same feelings. Yeah. Which is why we're like, I thought
one
they were
is to
similar.
do an inside job and the other one is to exile themselves.
Yes, exactly. So the Anabaptists were like, we don't need any power. And the Puritans were like, we want to reform the power and we also want to have our own power. And this made everyone hate the Anabaptists, So they were actually trying to kill them all. So the Catholics hated them, the Protestants hated them, the government hated them. They were refusing loyalty oaths. They were refusing Christian nationalism before that was a term, but it was very real then. Many were executed. They were arrested, exiled, tortured, killed, all of the above. The authorities hunted them so aggressively because they weren't just another religious sect. Their core beliefs directly undermined the political and social order of the time. So I think if they're imagining like, well, if no one wants to be a Christian or they get to choose, then this will be anarchy.
Right.
How dare they? So the authorities, this is what persecution looked like. The authorities used legal and extrajudicial violence to suppress the movement. Capital punishment was the law. So being an Anabaptist was officially a capital crime in many regions.
Which means that they would be sentenced to death.
Yes.
Okay.
Emperor Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor, decreed that rebaptism and failure to baptize infants could be punishable by death.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? This is only 500 years ago.
I mean, that's a moment ago, but yeah.
Well, when you go to Europe, it's like, this is from 1100.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the execution methods varied by region, from burning at the stake in Catholic territories, which sounds familiar with those Puritans, to drowning, beheading, and hanging, in addition to other forms of execution.
Oh my goodness.
They were very serious about baptizing those fucking babies.
Yeah.
So they're like just going to murder people instead.
Yeah. Like if you're not going to baptize your babies, we're going to drown you. So you are going underwater one way or another.
And in some areas, soldiers and executioners were deployed to hunt them openly without trials.
Wow. So like a lynching, basically.
In southern Germany, officials increased hunting parties from 400 to 1,000 men to track down believers. Houses of known Anabaptists were sometimes destroyed, and even those offering them shelter could be punished. Wow, Germany just really knows how to do it.
Clearly. I have a quick question. So about the child baptism thing, the Anabaptists refused to baptize their children, and that was punishable by death. Why? And I'm not saying they should or shouldn't have done this. I'm just curious. Why didn't they just do it performatively or as a formality? Did they actually think that there was something specifically wrong with baptizing your child? Or is it just like, because you said we can't do it, we feel this conviction to say no for the sake of saying no? Was it like that, you think? Or was there a reason that they just refused to baptize their children? Because in my mind, like, I don't think kids need to be baptized. But if I had a kid, and my partner felt really passionate about it, I'd be like, okay, yeah, we can do that. It's not a big deal to me either way. But it's a community event. It's important for my family, and like that feels significant. It doesn't mean anything to me. So in my mind, I'm like, why wouldn't you just do it?
They see it as so significant that it needs to be by choice.
Because so it's more, okay, so like the choice of adult baptism is so sacred that to do it before is like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like almost blasphemous.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think next week we're going to talk about what the Amish do today and how they practice religion. And one of the biggest things I learned is you aren't considered like solidly in the faith until you choose baptism, which typically happens right when people are getting married.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very serious thing. And like the whole idea about being shunned in Amish tradition only happens if you're baptized and then you leave.
Yeah.
It's not just, I thought it was if anybody leaves.
Yeah.
No, it's like if I chose to be a part of this and I confessed and like told everyone that I am now in this religion and then I leave, that's what makes you have to be shunned. I
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say baptism is a practice that I still think is really cool.
Yeah.
I just like I've been baptized before. It really does feel really special.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who feel that way. It's just, there's not a lot of places in life where ceremony exists in such a like sacred way. And that's really nice. We were kind of, I mean, not to the same level of conviction, but we didn't baptize babies growing up. Similar in that, like, we believe that it was a personal choice, and it was a almost symbolic act of salvation after you were saved.
Mm-hmm.
So you would go through the process of being born again, and then you would have a baptism experience to like imitate Christ's baptism with John the Baptist. And it's when almost like the mantle falls on you, because that's what happened to Jesus. Is like that's I think when like God first came down and said, "This is my son with whom I'm well pleased," after he was baptized, and then everyone was like, "Oh my God, it is the Son of God."
Oh my God.
So it's like when your identity as a Christian
Yeah.
falls on you, and you make a declaration to the world that you're a Christian. That's what the baptism is. Yeah, which is like kind of cool. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I miss. There's certain aspects of tradition that I really miss.
I was so Christian, I was baptized twice.
Wow. So does that mean you're double baptized, or does that undo the first baptism?
Baby baptized,
Okay.
teenager baptized.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was baptized by a convicted pedophile.
Oh, Jacob. That explains a lot.
Oh no.
Baby baptized.
Baby baptized. Jacob, I'm so sorry. And also,
Hey,
that's so funny.
I don't remember it.
Classic Catholic.
Don't do ketamine therapy.
Why not?
Might come back to you.
Your baptism still counts.
Yes.
I just made up that rule right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Anabaptists would disagree.
Oh, do they have a specific scenario for when you're baptized by a pedophile?
No, just being baptized by a baby. They don't like that.
Oh, they don't like it.
I'm assuming as a baby. Because you grew up Catholic.
And he doesn't remember.
Well, you know, who knows? There was one extreme case, the Munster Rebellion.
That sounds German.
Yep. Munster, Germany, where the cheese comes from.
Uh-huh.
A radical faction of Anabaptists briefly seized the city of Munster and were brutally crushed by a combined Catholic and Protestant force. Its leaders were executed, then displayed in iron cages hung from St. Lambert's Church as a warning to others. So,
The fascination of public execution of people from days of yore is so icky to me.
I'm starting to believe in it again.
Public execution?
Yeah, with what's going on in our country.
You want to see some people publicly executed?
I'd like to see those Epstein files put to good use.
I will say, I don't really want to see a public execution, but I do want to execute someone publicly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But more so because I love words of affirmation. And I would love for the audience to be like, "You did a good thing." And then I'd be like, "You know what? I did."
I'm not following.
Okay, no.
Are you?
I am. I don't agree, but I'm following.
I am joking. You know, like I don't want to watch a public execution, but I want to do the executing, and then people are like, "You did it, good job," and then I'm proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Also,
Yeah, I don't
a
wanna be in front
joke
of
to
the-
clarify.
Oh, well, some really sick things came about the Clintons since our last couple weeks of episodes talking about them.
Who even knows by the time this episode is released? Like,
They got Jay-Z.
oh, they're gonna have everyone. That's all I do is
If you were famous in 1995, you were probably a pervert.
probably.
So, as we know, persecution doesn't end religion. It just reshapes it.
Mm-hmm.
So after this violent crackdown, the kind of movement shattered, and after all the leaders were executed and the cities were no longer safe, they stopped being public. Instead, they just became small, mobile, hidden, decentralized. They were like underground networks, which we found in Minnesota is very effective.
Yeah, when you're organized and you have the best interest of your neighbor
Decentralized, yeah.
at heart. Yep.
After what happened in Germany, even though most Anabaptists were pacifists, this movement forced a reckoning. So at this point, we have a new guy coming on the scene, Menno Simons. You might know him because he started the Mennonites.
Okay.
So he kind of changed the strategy. So he was a Dutch Catholic priest. He was disturbed by these executions, and he left the priesthood. He becomes a leader among the peaceful Anabaptists. And he basically said, if we don't clearly reject violence and chaos, we won't survive.
Mm-hmm.
So he drew a hard line against their violence. He emphasized pacifism, emphasized order, discipline, and ethics, and de-emphasized the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
So over time, they started following him, and that was what became the Mennonites. They didn't find a new religion. They just rebranded and stabilized from this movement. So then they're in survival mode, and instead of being like murdered all the time, it's more just like constant pressure, like fines, imprisonment, property confiscation, forcing them to like leave the city or flee places, a little bit like the Mormons, like remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Mennonite communities learn to stay quiet, avoid confrontation, live morally, like just kind of be perfect, and then avoid public leadership or spectacle. So that's kind of when the idea of like separating from the world and this internal discipline comes from, and like very clear community boundaries that we see in these people group today. They were
which
more
is so opposite of evangelicals, because evangelicals are like called or whatever, like told to go to the ends of the earth and get messy everywhere and to take control and seize power and to like win the world for Christ kind of a thing. But like Amish and Mennonite communities are very much so more into your personal relationship with God, even to the point of like self-isolation.
Well, and this isn't even their theology. It's just how they survived.
Right, but I'm sure that's just now like ancestral in their epigenetics.
Right, and if you look at like our country's ancestral culture, it's either from the Puritans who were like, no, we need to change this and like charge forward and have power, or the people who were killing all the Anabaptists.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, obviously, I can see the foreshadowing of where we are now.
Yeah.
So then in the 1600s, the Mennonites spread, and they exist across Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands. They're still marginalized, but no longer being mass executed. And they have structure and elders and rules and traditions because they've been around for a few hundred, like almost 100 years total. And then they start to think, are we too comfortable? Which is something an evangelical would say.
Yeah, I would say that, honestly.
So some Mennonites adopt limited technology, they loosen their discipline, and they engage more with the surrounding society. And others panic. So with that, we have a split. The Mennonites go one way, and the Amish go the other way.
Okay.
So that's when kind of like the Mennonites are a little bit more advanced. The Amish, I don't know a ton about Mennonites. I didn't do all my research on them, but they're a little bit more integrated into society. So I was like, how many people were actually killed during this time in the 15 and 1600s? Some scholarly work estimates between the years 1525 and 1618, around 4,300 Anabaptists were executed. That's only recorded cases.
Yeah.
A lot more were done secretly or unrecorded. And some historians describe this persecution as even more severe than early Christian persecution under the Roman Empire.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's like the time in religious history that a lot of Christians mark as like the most severe in persecution. I didn't know
This
that.
seems much worse. And it's more intense.
Yeah.
So when we have the split between the Amish and the Mennonites, we have a new man, Jacob Amon, who believed that Mennonites were getting too lax, and that's where we get the name Amish.
Okay.
So they mainly disagree over church discipline, shunning of members who left or violated vows, and the plain dress as a marker of humility and separation. So again, this wasn't necessarily about technology, but it was about faithfulness and obedience, especially to the community. So about 115 years later, after the Protestant Reformation, we have the Amish. And this is in 1693. So the Amish are not early Protestants. They are not original Christians. They are a discipline-focused branch of the Anabaptists. And then in the 1700s, they start fleeing religious persecution to Europe. And in Pennsylvania is where they were offered religious freedom, some land, and they weren't forced to do military service. So that's why they first settle in Pennsylvania.
And that's why there's so many.
So the Amish or the United States didn't create the Amish. It kind of allowed them to stay intact.
Yeah. In my mind, they were an American originating
I know.
group. I knew that the Mennonites were from, is it Eastern Europe?
Everything I've
say?
read is like England, France, Germany,
Okay.
Switzerland.
Because
So
the
it
reason why I
seems
think
like
that
Western
there
Europe.
was a movie that was adapted from a book. I think it was called Women Talking or something, but it was the story of the Mennonite women, I think in Eastern Europe somewhere, that were being gassed with like a cow tranquilizer when they were sleeping. And then yes, this is a real story. It was made into a movie. And the men in their community would rape them.
What?
Yes. Look it up. And it was this really big deal. And they started like realizing it was happening because they would wake up and they would have like bruising and other like indicators. And it was like all ages of the women there and young girls too. And so one time,
sick.
I know. So then there was this meeting of the women where they'd planned like how to retaliate or what to do. And I don't actually know what they did because that's the spoiler of the movie. But and I just didn't look further in it. But they were Mennonite, and I think they were. I'm actually going to look it up real quick. In Bolivia, in Manitoba County colony.
Bolivia?
Mm-hmm.
In South America?
Is that where Bolivia is?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. That can't be. Yeah, that is in South America, but it says Bolivia.
Of course it's in South America.
I didn't know that.
I actually do know geography.
No, I believe you, actually.
It's something I know very well.
That's crazy. I cannot picture this taking place in South America because I'm thinking of like white Mennonite people.
This must be some weird cult version of Mennonites that were
It was the Manitoba
evangelized to.
colony.
Okay, well, the Amish were not from Bolivia.
I believe that.
We're going to talk a little bit about what the core Amish believe now that we've done the history, but we'll get more into it next week. So this is where evangelicals usually get it wrong.
Okay.
They're like, oh, the Amish just like live out their life with Jesus so well, blah, blah, blah. True, but not what they think.
Okay.
So there is no emphasis on a personal relationship with Jesus. There's no conversion experience. There is no big debate on the Bible. There's a heavy emphasis on community instead of the individual. Obedience over what you believe. Heavy emphasis on Jesus' teachings, especially the Sermon on the Mount. And a big emphasis on nonviolence and refusing to serve the state because the state is not God.
Okay. Interesting. I am surprised that they don't have a focus on a personal relationship with God when that seemed to be one of the markers of their, well, not specifically them, but the Anabaptists, like, pulled away from, because they wanted, like, baptism to be a personal experience.
They wanted baptism to be a choice.
Okay. But not
they
necessarily
wanted it to be a choice. They didn't want to feel like they were being forced into something.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
because they didn't think that was actually theologically sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily about, like, having a personal relationship with God.
No.
Okay. Got it.
They're very anti-individualistic, anti-nationalist, anti-modern power structure that puts them directly in conflict with evangelical ideology.
Very much so.
So next week we will learn more about them, about their community rules and what they wear and how they get married and where they live and how many people there are. Lots of details.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. So do you have any more to share about your mom's obsession?
I think we'll talk at length about it in our next episode. But yeah, this was something I noticed even as a young girl, that a lot of evangelical moms really loved the Amish, or like stories from like Puritan pioneer. You'll probably remember Little House on the Prairie being a really big deal. A lot of literature and movies from that era, and then also Amish people. And there was a whole subsect of Amish themed like movies that were really popular with like Hallmark.
Yeah, I've never seen these.
Really?
Yeah, I think we need to do one for one of our Wednesday night youth groups.
We will, because they were a really big deal with evangelical moms. And I did some research actually on them, and we'll talk a little bit more about them in the next segment and like why we think evangelical moms in particular gravitate towards them. There's some really like obvious reasons and then some less obvious ones, but yeah, it was something I always observed that was really strange. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about that in our next episode.
Cool. Exciting.
Yes,
All right. And we want to remind everyone that we have a Patreon.
we do.
And Bailee has decided that she is going to write a personal thank you note to her first 10 subscribers.
Yes.
So if you want to be getting a personal thank you note from Bailee, please subscribe and leave your address so she can send it to you.
Please do. I want all of your home addresses for no
Yes,
reason
please.
other than giving a thank you card.
That's the only reason.
Yes.
All right. Well, blessed are the listeners, for they shall inherit.
An unhealthy obsession with the Amish community that they eventually realize is not founded in anything grounded.
Perfect. Bailey's supposed to write that part and she didn't put it in here.
Sorry.
So you can find us on praisebetopod.com on the web and praisebetopod on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, and Patreon. It is finished.
It is finished.
Bye.
Bye-bye.